folks, to the latest episode of Between Two Pallets. Micah?
Yes, sir.
I just woke up in the bathroom of this place on the floor. Can you tell us where we are?
Well, it should be clear for most people. Well, actually, probably not. But we're at Koerber Brewing in Barboursville, West Virginia.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
I'm not going to sing.
Good beer there. Good beer here. We're on our first road trip. We made it down to Barboursville. This is the closest brewery to us, so we're gonna start out here and we'll spread out. We'll hit the next one, and this place is awesome. Number one, if you've never been here, put it on your list right now. This whole block, this whole downtown area of Barboursville is pretty sweet. But what they've built here, with 1861 and Koerber. And the whole deal here is incredibly exciting.
Listen, I just think the village of Barboursville needs to rename it Beater Street.
Yeah.
And just be done with it.
Be done with it. The beer's been fantastic. We're going to meet the people who brew it and the proprietors of this place here in just a second. Let's meet them now.
Yeah.
Bring them out.
Why wait?
We got Jason and Noah here. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey.
This is Jason Beater and Noah Beater. And we're gonna talk some beer. We're gonna brew some beer. Now, I just learned this, and one of the first things at our place that people ask is how you pronounce it,
right?
And where did the name come from?
It's pronounced Koerber, so rhymes with Gerber. Remember Gerber baby food, so Koerber. It is actually my wife, his mom's maiden name, and I just always thought it sounded like a really cool name for a beer.
It does, and the logo is super cool and everything too. I like it.
But yeah, we went with that. Actually, there was a Koerber Brewing back in the 20s, 30s, out of Toledo, Ohio. Obviously, I'd known about that for years, but Prohibition pretty much killed it. So when we did this, I was kind of hesitant to use the name because it had been used before, but I figured
I don't think they're going to sue you.
Enough time ago, and I actually had an attorney look into it and be like, "Hey, make sure there's no claims." And the cool thing about it, once we announced the name Koerber Beer Company, the beer company actually is kind of a nod to our good friends at Bad Shepherd Beer Company.
Mm-hmm.
So, but after we got this thing up and running and announced it, we pretty much found every Koerber in the country. They've emailed us. They've bought merch. We've actually had the grandchildren and the great grandchildren of the people who owned the original Koerber Brewing out of Toledo reach out to us and just kind of like, "Hey, this is awesome." So it's been nothing but positive.
That's really cool. I didn't know that, and it'd be awesome if they had like an old recipe or something from the original.
That's
brewery.
what I did a little fishing with one of them and kind of like, "Hey, if there's any old recipes laying around, I may need to reach back out and revisit that." So
Noah, you do the work back here behind us in the brewery, right?
Yep.
You were telling me about that a little bit earlier. When did you start brewing?
Last February.
About a year. Coming up on a year, finishing up a year, and might I say you've hit the ground running, man. It's the beers are good, but you've came up, under some local folk here who are pretty good at it.
Yeah, I didn't have the traditional home brewing path.
Mm-hmm.
I just jumped right into the fire with Ross up at Bad Shepherd, Bill up at Chestnut, Jeff Greenbrier Valley, and Dallas, and Jay and Jamal over at Peddler have helped me a lot as well. So it's taken a village, but
Dallas and High Ground.
Yeah, Dallas and High Ground.
Yeah.
It's taken a village, but they've been awesome, and I couldn't have done it without any of them. So
Did Bill share the recipe for Halleck with you at all? Or keep that in a lock and key?
I actually brewed it with him, but I don't remember the recipe.
Cool. So you guys started brewing here then in February of last year.
Yeah.
Cool. And then when did you open the tap room and everything here?
I think we finally got it open late June, early July, maybe. Does that sound about right? Yeah, that by the time we got it all built and ready to go, I think it was June or July. Mm-hmm. It all runs together.
Summertime?
So, yeah, summertime, warm weather.
Cool. And we'll try to take some video of the alleyway. I don't know if that's what you call it here, and the food trucks they have out here. I mean, I'm telling you, this place is super cool. I'm so impressed. I can't wait to come back here in an evening and make an evening out of it, especially the summer. But you need to come out in the winter and support these guys too, so they're still here in the summer. Let's drink some beer. You know, what do we got here? We're gonna start with the Hefe over here. What's this called?
It's just a Koerber Hefe.
Koerber Hefe. Smells like that.
You know, you guys are more than welcome to drink too.
Too early for you guys?
No, it's just
You got that banana in there. A lot of people say these taste like banana, but this one definitely does.
that was the direction we wanted to go. I drink a lot of beer, so in my travels, there you come across things and you're like, oh, that's how I prefer this style of beer. I mean, I know a lot of people prefer the Hefes to go the other way a little bit. I like the heavy banana bubble gum flavor in that if I do have one. And that's kind of where we went. I know he did use a traditional German recipe for that. So it turned out the first batch didn't quite go like we wanted. So he came in and tweaked it, and we're super happy with now what is the actual Koerber Hefe.
I love that. That's definitely not my go-to beer, but that's one of the best ones.
Well, there's a lot of people that ask. I know I was talking with a buddy of mine, Dustin, from the VFW up there, and he was asking about, you know, good hefts that they could get in the area. Now, they don't have a draft system. He was looking for bottle and cans and stuff, but there's a demand for it out there. A lot of people like it.
It's a good for non-beer drinker, non-craft beer drinkers, I think.
It's a good
Super light.
Traditional. It's like, oh yeah, that's okay. I can drink that. It's not. Oh, it doesn't taste like beer that some people don't like. It has a different flavor to it.
Dustin was asking. That was his point exactly. And a lot of the people that, especially at the VFW, they stationed in Germany, and that's, you know, what they would drink when they were there, and they just became accustomed to it and got to like it. So
maybe toss some blueberries in a tall glass, or maybe an orange on top of that. It would just finish that off nicely. Like that's a good beer. And the bubble gum in it you mentioned, I was like, yeah, that's hitting. Let's do this Pilsner, and I guess it's just the Koerber Pilsner.
Yep. It's a classic German Pils.
You guys need help coming up with weird names or anything for beers? I figured I could come up with a couple things.
Shoot 'em over.
So, what got you guys wanted to start a brewery? I know you've got everything else. You've got, you know, Oscars, 1961.
So it actually goes back to Oscars. Obviously, Oscars was created from my love of just like independent restaurants, and it was actually born out of my old job where I would travel. I'd find myself in local places, typically local burger, craft beer spots. That's kind of what I decided I wanted to build our restaurant as. And then I got more interested in beer and just kept going with it. So there was always a plan to have a brewery as part of Oscars at some point. Okay. And so my buddy Keith and I bought a home brewing kit. Keith started brewing, coming up with recipes and things like that. And then he passed those recipes when Keith, all right, this is Noah's thing. So he passed the recipes on to Noah, and obviously Noah scaled them up and tweaked them. I just happened to, COVID hit, that got put on the back burner. The space that was supposed to be the brewing area for Oscars became our outdoor dining area there. So that kind of did away with that. So I just kind of sat on it. Then we opened 1861 right next door. And then our landlord in this building, Melody, she's like, hey, do you know anybody who would be interested in renting the back of my building right next door? And I was like, well, let me go look at it. And as soon as I popped my head in here, I was like, oh, wow, this is it.
It's perfect.
And I said, I'll take it. And she's like, well, what do you want it for? And I was like, a brewery. She's like, what? I don't see it. And nobody saw it. I mean, it looked completely different in here. It was office space. It looked nothing like it looks now, but I saw it and I said, I'll take it. And here we are.
It's incredibly chill, the vibe in here, and the old, you know, the rafters and the trusses in the ceiling, and the old school feel in here is real cool. The brick, love it. Garage doors, totally awesome. And it doesn't take much. I mean, this is a small area. How many tanks do you have back here?
We have 4 3.5 barrel unit tanks, 1 3.5 barrel bright tank, and then just right over here we have our first 7 barrel unit tank. And we've already plumbed it in when we built this place. We have room for 4 more. unit tanks to put in, and those will all be 7 barrel.
Room to grow even.
Yeah. Well, we built it purposely to be able to grow oversized our chiller with the goal of expanding. I even oversized it to the point, if I ever wanted it to just 5 years from now, rip this out and put a 10 barrel system in, I could easily do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's cool. I love how you would actually sit on the other side of this bar right here, and your view is all these tanks and stuff back here, watching it all go down. There's also another little bar over to our right, your left, over here. That's real cool. We'll show you some pictures of that. And the whole deal out here with the alley and the games they're going to have out here and stuff in the summertime. The music, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to get down here. So let's try this hustle and bustle sour here, and then we'll talk about new beers.
This one is fantastic. We've had this up there before, and it went pretty quickly. Not as quickly as Blue Goose. That one goes super fast, but
gosh, I don't know if I've had that. That is good.
I love just the tartness of this one. That's just
what's in this?
Just some blackberry.
Blackberry.
Different.
That's actually our second sour. The first flavor we did, we're keeping it all in the series, Hustle and Bustle series. The first one we did was peach. People loved it. It's a great summer beer. But then we decided on the next flavor, we went with the blackberry, and people kind of lost their minds. They like the peach. They love the blackberry.
Like blackberry beer.
But then
like alcohol beer.
Yeah, we're working on the next flavor. We haven't quite settled on what we want to do. We're trying to come up with a few things that aren't just overly done, I guess. We try to separate ourselves a little bit. So we're still working on what flavors we want to do next.
This isn't your typical, to me, it's not your typical Berliner with blackberry in it. This is different than your typical sour, and I like it.
Yeah, it's been a big seller. We moved quite a bit of this beer.
Speaking of that, what's your most popular beer?
It's actually, I would say, Mr. Whiskers, our Mexican lager.
Okay.
Yeah, we
had it down there a couple times.
Yeah, it is. We brewed that one. That was Noah's first attempt at lagering, and he kind of nailed it right out of the gate with that. We took that to Rails and Ales this past year. It was a hit. Everybody loved it, and they requested it. The only downside is that beer takes about 6 weeks to brew, so it's hard to keep it in heavy rotation until we expand and get more tanks. And once we do that, then that's the lagers that become popular will go in those tanks because obviously you can make more of it.
So those have less ingredients, but it takes longer. Than your pale ales and whatnot.
Yeah, we can crank out the sours and the IPAs and things like that in a little over a week. So it's not that big a deal to brew those in the smaller tanks because you can pop it out and pop it right back in. By the time you run out, your next batch is done anyway.
So let's talk about this next one. I'm super excited about this, Micah. This is a brand new beer.
Now we did try it earlier. And
well, don't give it away.
No,
yes, we did. We had 4 or 5 of them earlier. I wish. So this is one that's just finished up, right, Noah?
Yep. It's still in the tank. I'll be kegging it here in a little bit.
It's probably not even on Untapped yet.
Nope.
And it's
pre-Untapped.
Is it your first double that you've done?
Yep. Very first one.
And what's it called?
Double bogey.
Double bogey.
Yep.
And it is dandy. I mean,
So
this is a good beer.
Just Carney Cuts, Big Brother.
Yep. Double Carney Cut, basically.
Yeah.
The look of this, like the color, is just perfect for I love that haze in this and beers like this, and the smell is so fresh. Of course, it's from the teat, is like I like to say when you have it straight out of the thing back there.
Now, what was the ABV you said?
8%.
8%, and it does not drink like that. So
you have to be careful with this one.
Yeah, it can be dangerous if it catches you off your toes.
I mean, for this to be your first double IPA is just quite ludicrous.
It's so smooth. It's just there.
And I don't know if it's just because it's that fresh, but it's so good. I hope it stays.
I hope it ages.
I hope it doesn't fall off, because this is about as good as it gets right here, man.
Yeah, and the Carney Cut, going back kind of to what our most popular beer, that was probably a close second. You think, Noah?
Yeah, that with Blue Goose.
Either that or Blue Goose.
Blue Goose is good. It's one of my favorites.
But as far as IPAs go, it's by far our most popular. Carney Cut is our most popular. So when we were doing the double, we like, let's just kind of let's not try to reinvent anything here. Let's see what that tastes like as a double IPA, and I think he did pretty well pulling it off.
No, you nailed it, man.
Yeah, man.
You did. That's
Totally nailed it. Like I said, that's about as good as you can get on a good double IPA. So what's the plans here? Like, what do you guys imagine here in the future? What do you got lined up for spring, summer? Any events or anything cool?
Yeah, obviously the goal, the number one thing is obviously just high quality beer. Mm-hmm. That's our first and foremost. We're pretty picky. I mean, if it's not something that we would sit down and regularly
that we feel the same way
drink,
at Pallet.
We're not going to.
Quality beer served the right way in the right glasses, the right temperature and the whole deal like that.
And obviously kind of the world we want to end up playing in, we'll never not do IPAs and sours and things like that, but that's not what we want to be known for. We eventually want to kind of fall into more of the traditional lager style, obviously leaning toward German European styles. But that said, we actually have an American lager in the tank right now. We're going to see how that goes. But yeah, that's the goal. Once we get everything completely finished here, and we have all the tanks in, and we can afford to tie up some tanks for 6 weeks at a time. That's kind of the world we want to play in. Just lagers. I mean, I'm the type of guy it'll be 100 degrees out, and I'll sit there and drink a Dunkel. I just love them.
Those are good.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're working on that right now. I want to do a Hellas, but we also want to get a little creative too. There's a few things we have up our sleeve that we want to play with a little bit when it comes to beer. As far as this location, I kind of gave you the brief history of how this was supposed to be just a brewery and not really a tap room or not supposed to have food or any of that. And for some reason, I can't seem to stop. So we built it out nice. If you've not been here, we've got an amazing outdoor space. It looks pretty crappy right now with the winter. We moved all the picnic tables out of the alley just so we could clear snow so people could come and hang out. But the goal is once the weather breaks, I mean, a massive gathering space outside. We're going to have live music outside. Hell, we'll have live comedy shows outside.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to have. We set up when it's nice out. We set cornhole boards up and all the stuff you find at a lot of breweries. Just we want to be a true gathering space for the community.
Destination.
And everybody, just because we're a brewery doesn't mean that you can't come and hang out. That's not what we. I mean, so we added the food truck, the food bus. Actually, you'll see it when you go out there. I think our food's pretty killer on that.
Checking out the menu, it looks incredible.
Yeah,
the hot dogs, the sandwiches, and everything.
Yep. So
can't wait. We
have that. I want to set up some community events out there. I want to invite local artisans to set up their booths one day a month out here and sell their goods. I don't want anything for it. I don't want.
Well, Jason, I tell everybody, you've invested so much into the community here in the village of Barboursville. You've not only got a lot of people get into business just to get themselves up, but you've invested in the community and you've raised up with your restaurants, your events.
There's a record store across the street too.
Exactly. You're growing it and you're making it a destination for people.
And that's kind of the goal.
I respect that.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to create. I got tired of hearing all the time, hey, we're going to spend, well, one, there's nothing to do, but two, we're going to spend the weekend in Lewisburg. Now, don't get me wrong, Lewisburg's awesome. I go there myself and I enjoy going there, but I also want people to say, hey, let's go spend the weekend or a Saturday in Barboursville. Why not? I mean, we got some cool stuff here. And then all the points in between, not just Barboursville. I want you to go to Huntington, check out the cool restaurants down there, the brewery, the Peddler in Huntington. I want you to hit the points in between. Stop at the Pallet up in Hayes Valley or Hurricane, and stop at this place up the road, and then spend make a weekend trip, I-64 weekend trip.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have enough stuff here to where it's cool. There's all kinds of stuff, and like I said, I'm lucky enough to have the support of the community to help build this little thing here. But it's not just me. I mean, you got Bruno's next door, a nice restaurant. They just opened up next door to complement 1861, what you have next door, and then across the street you got the girls who own the bookstore. They sell beer, they sell wine. You can go over there and hang out in the bookstore. That's kind of like, I like to go there and escape. No one finds me over there, so I can go there and hide out and have a beer at the bookstore. I've got the record store on the corner. There's just all kinds of cool stuff happening literally right here, and you can spend a day here. And then a mile away, I've got Oscars. You can go do that.
And to your point, Barboursville is on the map now.
Yeah,
it is a place to go, a place to be, and the future looks awesome here. And thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to get off here and finish up these beers and move on. But Noah, thanks for having us down here, Jason.
Thank you all, and I want to say this before we go. Thank you all for supporting us from day one. Mike has been great about buying our beer and keeping us on tap up there. Obviously you got a lot of taps up there, so getting just one tap in a cool place like that, it means the world to us. So I really appreciate you all and all the support you've shown us.
Anytime, we hope to keep it going. We're gonna load the truck up with some of these beers. Hopefully this one too. Both of these on the way home. I want some of that heft too, man. This is good stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that wraps it up here at Koerber. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you come down here and check this place out. This place is incredible. Check us out at Pallet on your way or your way back. See you next time.